Hey guys, it's April 7th. In this video, what I'm going to cover is a question which I've been receiving in my DMs. I've also been seeing the debates going on Twitter, and I was planning on making this video when the emails came out, but I just haven't had the time. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my breakdown as to who I believe they are referring to when they say the two issuers. I don't believe the two issuers can be Torch and Metamaterials or NextBridge. And in this video, I'm going to give you my rationale and then back it up with some evidence. And I hope you guys share it. And if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comment box. And I usually give a response, a very detailed response. And it's a good question to ask. But I just think the in between both the emails and the specific time and date of the emails and just the various amounts of filings that both Torch and MMAT have done over the past 2 years. Okay, since even before Series A shares were made, I just don't believe in the context of this email that they're referring to MMAT and Torch or NextBridge. So I'm gonna go through it, and I hope you like the video, and I hope you guys agree with what I'm saying. All right, so let's just get into it right now. So in this first email, let's uh, let's let's go through line by line and what exactly is happening here. Okay, so it's an email from Sam Draddy. Sam Draddy is a guy that works at Finra, but who exactly is he? Sam Draddy is the senior vice president, national cause and financial crimes detection program at Finra. Okay, financial crimes detection program at Finra. Okay, now look at this date, November 29th. He's sending this email to one and two and three. He's CCing the third SEC officer, and because of legal guidelines, they cannot share the names of the SEC officers. Okay, so their names have been redacted. However, he's also CC'd Patricia Casamats, who he refers to as Patty. Okay, the date is very crucial, and I don't believe I've seen anybody on Twitter actually cover it in depth and connect it the way I'm going to connect this in this video. This email is being sent November 29th, okay, 2021. Why is that significant? Well, if we go to the, let's see, where's the memo? Pull up the memo. Okay, if we look at this memo, okay, memo 49379 dated October 8, 2021 by the OCC. They tell you on October 6, 2021, the Series A preferred shares, not MMTLP, okay, there's a big difference, uh, began trading on the OTC under the name Metamaterials and the trading symbol MMTLP. Okay, October 6th, it began trading. Keep that in mind. Okay, now this email is a almost 2 months, okay, after it began trading. Fucking hell, where'd it go? Okay, after it began trading, October 6th, Sam Draddy is sending an email out November 29th. Okay, October, November. So almost 2 months after, he's sending an email to SEC and Patricia, who, let's look at what Patricia does. Patricia is the VP Market Operations for Finra Transparency Services. Her responsibilities include Finra's Trace, which I'm guessing is a software, Alternative Display Facility, ADF, and the OTC Trade Reporting Facility. In addition, she also manages OTC corporate action and dividend announcements. Prior to the market operation, Casamet was the deputy director in Finra's market regulation department, overseeing surveillance of trade reporting. Okay. She would have known exactly when MMTLP got reported. The first trade when MMTLP began trading, it was because, as Finra explained in the answer to their question 4, their job is to require whoever did that trade to get MMTLP to open up and create a market for it. They were required by Finra to report it. Okay, and she would have known exactly who reported it. Okay, so let me just go on with this for now. So here, after the date, so it's almost 2 months after, Sam is sending an email to the SEC officers. Okay, and you got to remember, this email was obtained by Howard when he requested emails in relations to MMTLP. So this isn't a random email that's associated with any other security. November 29, 2021. Around this time is when they would be looking into Torch, MMAT, and any other party which was associated with this MMTLP trading. Okay. Almost 2 months after it began trading, and you remember the CEOs of Torch and Metamaterials, both John Berta and George Calaparis, uh, both said they immediately notified Finra that MMTLP wasn't meant to trade and that there may have been false information provided. That's when Finra ought to have issued the U3 halt, okay, or any type of halt, just to figure out, hey, why is this thing trading when it was never specifically meant to trade? And after doing research, I could find no other example of a dividend share, okay, a Series A dividend share being put onto the market, especially when it was specifically authorized and registered with the SEC to not trade. It was a non assessable dividend share, which was registered with the state of Nevada. Anyhow, let's just read this email. Okay. Over here, again, where the redaction is, that would be the SEC officer. It'd be like, Dear John. It's one of these two officers, okay, or both of their name up there, Dear John and Tom. I believe it was Patty Casamate from our market ops who reached out to you. This would be the same guy right here. I have included her on the email so you can out to her directly. Hope all is well. And then Sam's personal info here is redacted. Okay, November 29th. Keep that in mind. 2021. This is the time when they would be looking into metamaterials and Torch. Okay. Then we have this email. This email is again by Sam Draddy, sent on December 5th, 2022. Okay. A full year after this email. Okay. In this email, he's again sends it to an SEC officer. Okay, and he CCs two other SEC officers. So there's three, and there's three SEC officers here as well. Okay, and then he CCs Richard Boyle and Jay Gibbon, both of which are also work in the fraud department at Finra. Then again, over here, they've redacted the SEC officer's name. Okay, so let's just say, Dear John, looks like this MMTLP matter has now hit the fraud team's radar. Notice they don't use the phrase the two issuers here. Okay, they refer to MMAT and MMTLP. So just by logical logical writing, right, you wouldn't first say MMAT here and MMTLP and then go and refer to them as two issuers and then refer to them again by MMAT and MMTLP. But anyhow, let's just read it. Looks like MMAT MMTLP matter has now hit my fraud team's radar screen and seemingly a lot of other radar screens as well. I know you have spoken to Patty Casamet and our general counsel's office. okay, but was wondering if it made sense for my fraud team to have a conversation directly with you and your folks working on the matter, so we are not duplicating efforts. We are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle and, in fact, blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. If you think a comparison of notes is worth a quick call, let me know a good day and time. I can set up a Zoom, and feel free if you let me know if blank, this is the SEC officer, or anyone else who should be included. Thanks. Again, the SEC officer's name, and then Sam's personal info is being redacted. And we don't know the other chain of emails here. We just have this one, December 5th, 2022. So now the doubters are claiming two issuers refers to MMAT or Torch or Nextbridge Hydrocarbon, which doesn't make sense because of the date. They essentially are saying they're looking at a fraud manipulation angle 3 days before the U3 halt, when the investigation's been actually, we can say it's an investigation because all these people are included in the fraud department. Okay, the fraud department, if it's involved for longer than a year, you can pretty much safely guess that an investigation is taking place. I know some people say, "Oh, there's no proof that this is an investigation." No, the proof is right here. They got SEC officers, they got the head of the fraud department at Finra, the entire fraud department looking into this matter, not just 3 days before the U3 halt, but they've been inquiring since November 29, 2021, about 2 months right after MMTLP began trading, and after they received complaints from retail and the CEOs, okay, who immediately notified them. So let me just go answer these questions now, okay? The two issuers, are they referring to Torch and MMAT, or are they referring to MMAT and Nextbridge, or are they referring to MMAT and MMTLP? I argue it can't be Torch because Torch did not issue MMTLP. What they did issue, okay, they issued Series A preferred dividend shares, okay, not MMTLP. MMAT did not issue the MMTLP shares. MMAT obtained the Series A preferred divi shares from the merger, which were issued prior to the merger by Torch on around June 21, 2021. Okay, it's actually earlier than this, but the investors got it around this time. Between it was before the merger. The reason was they wanted to make the merger fair for long Torch holders. So what ended up happening is people who held Torch got a certain amount more MMT Series A preferred dividend shares prior to the merger, and then if they held options in for MMAT, they also received Series A preferred shares on top of that. Okay, so MMAT didn't issue MMTLP; they obtained the Series A preferred divi shares from the merger. Okay, and Torch did not issue MMTLP; they issued Series A preferred dividend shares. Nextbridge Hydrocarbon did not issue MMTLP shares on after people investors that held past the record date, okay, December 8, uh, had their MMTLP shares converted into Nextbridge Hydrocarbon shares. So and Nextbridge did not issue MMTLP. They had investors holding MMTLP spin off into holding their NBH shares. Okay, Prfd didn't issue any of it. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly take you through some of the filings. Okay, and you might ask, oh, when were the filings? Now, like I told you earlier, keep in mind the dates. Okay, this investigation, this email right here, started November 29th, almost 2 months after MMTLP began trading illegally. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go to the SEC website. Type in, all of Torch documents are under the MMAT ticker, okay? Because they merged. Okay, then click on filings. Then scroll down. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so now we have February 2nd. Go to this one, preliminary proxy statement. Okay, open that. Now, Control F, Series A. Here, Torch has provided a preliminary proxy statement telling the SEC, hey, these are the things we're planning on doing. This is why, and this is what what purpose they have. Okay. Prior to the effective time, Torch will declare and issue a dividend on a 1-to-1 basis for shares of Series A preferred stock to holders of Torchlight shares. Okay, prior to the effective time, prior to the merger. Okay, the Series A stock is not expected to be listed on a security exchange and will be administered by a combined companies transfer agent, AST. The anticipated and unintended impact of Series A preferred stock is to maintain the interest of Torchlight stockholders as of the Series A preferred record date in the ONG, oil and gas assets, after the consummation of the arrangement. Okay, after the merger of the arrangement. Okay, the following is a summary description of the material provisions of rights, privileges, restrictions, and conditions attached here to the Series A preferred stock is qualified in its entirety by reference to the Series A certificate of designation attached here too. Okay, so what is the the certificate of designation? That's the document I tweeted out. It's actually filed in the filings. Okay, it's attached to it. Let's take a look. There it is. All right, certificate of designation right here. Now, look what when they registered it as a Series A non-voting preferred stock right there. Okay, on June 14, 2021. Okay, and then when everything got determined that it was about to spin out into NextBridge, they withdrew this. Okay, because it's not meant to trade. And when was it? Right here on this date, December 9th, 2022. Because these shares no longer exist and they are now NBH shares. Okay. So they were registered. Okay. So this preliminary proxy statement is filed February 4th, 2021. It's telling the SEC this is what we're going to do, and here's all the info you need. Okay. Now, this is they included additional things in more filings. Okay. Then they included furthermore in the current 8A, they, as the merger with MMAT became more definitive, they included the current report with the entry into a material definitive agreement and other things. Okay. Then the SEC generated a letter. Okay. They're telling the SEC on March 3rd. Okay. March 3rd, right here, 2021. They're letting John Berta know that, yo, we've reviewed your filings and have the following comments. In some of our comments, we may ask you to provide us with information so we may better understand the disclosure. Okay, this is in reference to that proxy statement, okay, and specifically Schedule 14A filed on February 4th. They go through everything and they tell John, look, these are some of the things we need. Okay, they reviewed the Series A, they reviewed everything he said, and then they told, they're basically telling them they reviewed everything. Okay, and if they needed any more info, they'll ask for it. Okay, so this is the letter right here. Now look at this. Okay, this is the correspondence filed March 22nd. This letter is the March 3rd. So let's see. Now K&L Gates, okay, they were hired by Torch Light Energy to, as to give them legal advice on all of the stuff, okay, with the merger. One sec. Okay, so this one right here, this is the what is it? Preferred A14. Okay, preferred this one. Another preliminary proxy statement on April 21st, 2021. Okay. In this one, after September 21, 2020, Torchlight engaged K&L Gates and Stikeman Elliott LLP as additional legal advisors for the transaction. On October 14, 2020, the parties and their legal and financial advisors held a conference call to initiate a transaction process and discuss details regarding the transaction structure. Okay, parties subsequently agreed to move forward with the plan of arrangement and exchangeable share structure described elsewhere in the proxy statement. Okay, they got advice from these law firms. Okay, fair, stringent requirement, respect for the process of selling ONG assets, covenants, arrangements, that okay, closing arrangements. And then between November 13th and December 13th, the parties and the prospective legal advisors negotiated these issues and other key points. Structure obtained, okay, before deciding to move forward with the dividends Series A described elsewhere. On December 3rd, 2020, Torchlight legal advisors circulated an initial draft for the Series A certificate of designation. Between 3rd, 20, 3rd, 13, the parties negotiated key issues in terms of Series A preferred stock and the asset sales transaction. Okay, the asset sale expiration date, the items would be deducted from the asset sale to give the dividends, whether the asset sale dividends would be paid in respect to the asset sale transaction or in lump sum, holdback, okay, the treatment of remaining assets, okay, the circumstance under which a combined company would and would not be required to pay a spin-off dividend and a spin-off cost revenue amount. During this process, Torch and Meta mutually agreed to extend the exclusivity period provided for in the letter of intent on 2 occasions. Okay, which parties announced on that? Blah blah blah. Okay, it just goes on. They basically say in the event that the Series A preferred shares aren't sold by December 31st, okay, of 2021, that the shares would then be spun off. It's all in here. It's in the filings since, okay, February 2nd. Since February 2nd, it's been nonstop filings. The SEC's requested more info. Then uh, they Torchlight and Meta have gotten in touch with K and L Gates Law Firm and Stikeman Elliott Law Firm, okay, as they stated right here. Where is it? Okay, after September 24th, engaged K&L and Stikeman Elliott, legal advisors for this transaction. Okay, this is the proxy statement right there. Okay. Okay, then if we keep moving forward, this is on May 7th. Okay, correspondence, May 7th. Okay, again, the law firm is advising them, giving them information. Okay, this is all in here. Disclosed goodwill of 680, blah blah blah. The company's response. Okay, they filed that with the SEC. Okay, then let's see, SEC May 11th, 2021. Look at here, okay? May 11, 2021. We have completed our review of your filing. We remind you that the company and its management are responsible for the accuracy and adequacy of the disclosures, notwithstanding any review, comments, actions, or the absence of action by the staff, okay? They're saying that it's up to them ultimately to, provide up-to-date data and info and make sure it's correct. And what Torchlight have done, okay, with metamaterials is they filed everything. They even got in touch with two major law firms. K&L Gates and Stikeman Elliott are massive law firms in North America. Okay, they're amongst the biggest actually. Carrying on, they filed a prospectus 424B June 16th. Okay, yeah, we've entered into a sale agreement with Roth Capital. This is one they got in touch with Roth. Okay, so Series A preferred. This is okay. They're letting Roth know in this as well that on June 14th we have declared a dividend on a one-to-one basis in connection with an arrangement on June 14th. This one they formally announced it to the public. Okay, we declared a one-to-one subject to adjustment on the reverse split of shares to our newly designated preferred Series A shares or the Series A preferred stock to the record holders of our common stock as of the close of business on June 24th. Anyone who held on this day received the Series A, not MMTLP, which is the record date of the dividend. Following the effective time, the holders of Series A preferred stock may be entitled to certain dividends based on the net proceeds of any sale of assets that are used or held for use in our oil and gas exploration business or the ONG assets, subject to certain holdbacks. Such assets sales must occur prior to December 31st, 2021, the date which is 6 months from the closing of this arrangement. Okay, 6 months from this merger, they had that time to sell all the assets to any possible buyers. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Not only did it not happen, that look what happened. They were planning on trying to get it to be sold, and all of a sudden, before the December 31st um, event, okay, it could even happen. MMTLP starts to publicly trade. Okay, they said that they're looking for potential buyers by this date. Okay, and failing that, it would be spun off. Okay, so right here, or the sale of expiration date. Following the sale expiration date, subject to certain conditions, the combined company will effect a spin-off of any remaining ONG assets with the Series A preferred stockholders to receive their pro rata equity in the spin-off entity. The arrangement has been approved by the board of directors and shareholders of Meta and our board of directors and stockholders. Okay. The consummation of the arrangement is subject to certain closing conditions, including without limitation, all of this stuff. Okay. So just look at all this filings, okay, and the back and forth that they've had with the SEC since what I was able to find that they mentioned it the very first time in this proxy statement right here on February 2nd or February 4th. Okay. Then there was back and forth correspondence with the SEC asking them, okay, we need this info, that info. Okay. And then telling them that, like any governing body always does, is tell them that, you're also liable for the accuracy of your statement. Okay. So what do Torch and Meta do? They hire two of the biggest law firms and they get their legal advice. Okay. They file that all their communication and advice in letter format, their correspondence with the SEC. Then they hire Roth Capital. Torch hires Roth Capital, okay, to sell offering price of 100 million through sales agent. Okay. And they again disclose in this agreement what their intentions are with the Series Preferred A stock. And it's just on and on. Okay. So let me just go back to this quickly, or rather this. Torch did not issue MMTLP. They issued the Series A preferred dividend shares, not MMTLP. And let me just add, designed or made with the purpose of being sold by December 31, 2021. Failing that, they would be spun off into a private company. However, on October 6, 2021, Series A preferred divi shares began trading as MMTLP, as stated in all of the OCC memos. Okay, let's look at this one again. On October 6, Series A preferred shares, not MMTLP, on October 6, Series A preferred shares began trading on the OTC market under the name Metamaterials and trading symbol MMTLP. So let's go back to this and read this. We are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle, in fact, blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. Looks like the MMAT and MMTLP matter has now hit my fraud team's radar and seemingly a lot of other radar screens as well. Okay. It can't be Torch. Torch didn't issue MMTLP. They issued the Series A preferred stock. It can't be MMAT. MMAT didn't issue MMTLP. They obtained MMTLP from Torch, okay, through the merger. And actually they obtained the Series A preferred stock, which I myself, being a long investor, I remember when the ticker changed all of a sudden in my account and everybody else's account, and people were left uh, thinking that that was their dividend. It had a penny value, 10 cents or a penny value, and some people actually sold thinking that that was their chance to get the dividend, and they were pissed off when they found out that no, that's not the dividend that you were supposed to receive. Okay, that's when this guy right here, okay, this guy and this lady right here, okay, Patty and Sam, ought to have done something. They ought to have put a halt. They should have made a statement, but they didn't do diddly squat. And what they did do, okay, by their emails, is they were aware of it, because 2 months after MMTLP, okay, started trading, this is them talking about it right here. And when and then after MMTLP has been on the threshold list for 90 plus days, over since the time it started trading, they finally, 3 days prior to the record date, they start investigating. So the doubters are telling us that 3 days prior to the U3 halt, they the entire fraud team, including all the SEC officers, the three that are included in this email, in both the emails, the doubters are saying that this at this time, 3 days before the U3 halt, that's when they're looking into Torch and Meta, even though they've provided all the info, the financials, the reason, the purpose for creating the Series A, not MMTLP. Okay, they never created MMTLP. They created the Series A preferred stock. Since February 2nd of 2021, they have all the correspondence between the SEC. They engaged in two of the biggest law firms to get legal advice on this matter. They submitted the correspondence. They went through all the mergers, okay, and the doubters are going to tell are arguing that when they say we are looking into the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle, that 3 days prior to the U3 halt, and given the fact that the investigation has been going on since November 29th, that they are only now looking into MMAT and Torch or NextBridge from a manipulation fraud angle, and that they're blue sheeting everything. That just seems illogical to me. Okay, if you look at it in the context of the date of the first email, the date of the second email, and all the filings and all the correspondence that I went through with you guys right now, okay, it makes no sense. Okay, it makes no sense. We have completed our review of the filing, May 11th. Okay, that's SEC. March 3rd, 2021. Okay, we have reviewed your filing and have the following comments. We have reviewed your filing and have the following comments. March 31. Okay, they submitted this proxy right here on February, okay, February 4th. And the doubters are arguing that it's Torch, MMAT, or NextBridge. So let me just go back over here. MMAT did not issue MMTLP. MMAT obtained Series A preferred divi shares from the merger, which were issued prior to the merger, okay, by Torch. It can't be NextBridge, because NextBridge didn't issue MMTLP or Series preferred, or the Series A preferred shares. Okay, they they didn't even receive MMTLP. What happened was, if you held past the record date, your MMTLP got exchanged for one for one NextBridge shares. Okay, so it just doesn't make sense. Okay, that's what I'm arguing here. It can't be Torch. Torch issued the Series A preferred stock, not MMTLP. The only parties that could have issued, could be the issuers in this context, in my opinion, would be, let's let me just show you. Okay, this is one of the answers by the question 4, answer by Finra. Okay, the trade reporting process is separate from the process by which broker dealer begins trading a security in compliance with this rule. This rule requires a broker dealer, prior to quoting a security on its own behalf, to review specified information about the company that has issued the security, unless an exception applies. In some cases, a broker dealer also must file this. Uh, uh, that permits a broker dealer to publish a quotation for an unsolicited customer order. Okay, that's one of part of the answer. This was also one of their answers. FINRA does not approve a company's issuance, okay, of security, or approve or determine when a broker dealer or customers may begin trading those securities. However, once a broker dealer executes a transaction in an unlisted security, the Series A preferred stock, the firm is required by FINRA, by the FINRA rules, to report the executed transaction. Okay, what they're referring to here could only mean the initial two broker dealers that issued MMTLP. Okay, remember, MMAT, Torch, or Nextbridge didn't issue MMTLP to trade. They issued the Series A preferred stock for shareholders to obtain a dividend from the sale of oil and gas. It was never issued by them to trade. The companies that issued it to trade are the broker dealers. The broker dealers issued it. Look at the context of the date, December 5th. November 29, 21, almost 2 months after it began trading, this is when they would look into Torch and Meta. Why are they CCing 3 SEC officers, okay, including Patricia Casamats, on November 29, 2021? Okay, 2 months after it began trading and they received all the complaints. This is when they would call the SEC and say, hey, do you know anything about this MMTLP? What is this MMTLP? Have they done all the filings? Okay. The doubters are telling us that from November 29, 2021 to December 2022, 1 year, okay, this is 1 year exactly, that 3 days before the U3 halt, this is we are looking at the two issuers. This is when they started looking at MMAT and Torch from a fraud manipulation, in the context of them having all the filings since February 2nd, 2021, February 4th. Okay, and them having correspondence. Look at this, March 3rd, May 7th. Okay, KNL Gates, they uploaded this. Okay, May 11th again. Okay, we've completed our review. We have reviewed your filing and have the following comments. The doubters just don't make sense to me. Okay, we are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle. Torch initially issued Series A preferred stock, not MMTLP. MMAT received the Series A preferred stock, which they didn't issue MMTLP. It was actually had an expiration date to be sold off before December 31st, based on the statement that they provided, that Torch got even Roth to sell up to $100 million worth. They were looking for investments. MMTLP was issued not by Torch, not by MMAT or Nextbridge. They all were considering the Series A preferred stock. The ticker symbol MMTLP was issued by Finra is because two broker dealers uh, issued MMTLP and started trading it. That's what Finra is saying in their answer to their question 4. Finra does not approve a company's issuance of securities, or approve or determine when a broker dealer or customers may begin trading those securities. However, once a broker dealer executes a transaction in an unlisted security, this is Series A preferred stock, The firm is required by Finra rules to report the executed transaction to Finra, and where a symbol does not exist, the broker dealer must request a symbol. They did the trade, they reported the trade, then they requested a symbol. Finra issued the symbol because there was a QSIP, because the Series A were registered with the state of Nevada, and there was a QSIP by the initial issuer of the Series A, not of MMTLP. Okay, because the issuer obtained a QSIP for the Series A preferred share. Read what they're saying. Not they didn't obtain a QSIP for MMTLP. They had a QSIP for the Series A. Okay, so that I'll leave that over there. Think about what everything I just said, and I'll just end it here by saying the most important thing here is the very end of this sentence. We are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle, and in fact, blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. The blue sheeting data is what's important here. Okay, whether or not the two issuers actually means MMAT and Torch, that's all right. Okay, it doesn't really, it's not as important as what they just said in that end of that sentence. Blue sheeting refers to the process by which the SEC requests detailed trading data from broker dealers and clearing firms, okay, for specific securities. The term blue sheet comes from the color of the paper and blah, blah, blah. The SEC uses the information to investigate potential insider trading and other securities violation. The blue sheet requests will typically ask for the names of the security traded, the dates of the trade, the size and the price of the trade, and the identity of the clients involved in the trades. The broker dealers and clearing firms are required by law to comply with these requests in a timely manner. Okay, so we know the U3 halt's been in place for more than 120 days now. Okay, that's 4 months. Uh, and in fact, they've been looking into MMTLP trading since November 29, 21. Okay, so we can safely say this has been on the radar for 1.5 years, or even more than 1.5 years. Okay, it's been on their radar if we include the time of the stock's been under a U3 halt. So just logically, it can't be Torch, can't be MMAT. It was the Series A preferred stock which Torch issued. MMAT wasn't an issuer of the stock. They obtained the Series A preferred stock from the merger with Torch. MMAT was expecting to sell the oil and gas assets by December 31st. Failing that, they've written in all of their filings, along with the filings of Torch, that it was supposed to be spun out. Okay. MMTLP started trading by the two issuers, okay, that reported their trades to Finra. This can't be MMAT or Torch. They're referring to the two broker dealers which did the initial trade, which required them to report that trade to Finra to receive the symbol MMTLP. And look what they're saying. They're blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP. They've manipulated MMAT. They've manipulated MMTLP. But notice they didn't say Torch, because Torch has merged into MMAT. Okay. I hope everything made sense in this video, and I hope I showed you some info you might have not seen before. But I'm convinced that this email, okay, this email, and then Sam Draddy and Patricia Casamats have full knowledge about what's been happening to MMTLP since November 29, 2021, 2 months after MMTLP started trading. Okay, so just to summarize everything, okay, the two issuers can't be Torch, MMAT. They can't be Nextbridge and MMAT. And they're more like, chances are, who they're referring to as the two issuers are the two broker dealers which issued MMTLP to get it to trade. It was that initial trade between each other which required Finra to request that they report that trade. Once once they reported that trade, they can also request a ticker symbol. Finra issues the symbol. Okay, they don't care about anything else. They can't do anything else. That's what Finra is saying. So when they refer to the two issuers in this email that Howard was able to get, okay, which is part of the email string dating back to November 29, 2021, which was 2 months after, almost 2 months after MMTLP started trading. You have Sam Draddy, the part of the FINRA, who's the vice president of financial crimes detection. He's emailing directly 3 SEC officers and CCing Patricia. Okay. And it's likely that they've been discussing this even prior to November 29th. Okay. Because we know the CEOs immediately notified that FINRA that it wasn't meant to trade. So these two fraud detection people at FINRA, they're talking to the SEC and they're saying that, hey, they're most likely asking the SEC, is how is MMTLP trading, and has the broker dealers, the guys who issued it to trade and reported its trade and created a market for it, was it legal? Okay, is there anything wrong about it? Is there fraud involved? Okay, then all the 3 days prior to the halt, you got them saying we are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle. In fact, blue sheeting both MMAT and they're saying they're getting all the trading data of MMAT and MMTLP, and they're looking at the two issuers. And as I stated in this video, Torch didn't issue MMTLP, MMAT didn't issue MMTLP, nor did Nextbridge. Torch issued the Series A preferred dividend stock. Okay, since February 2nd, 2021, they've let the SEC know. There's been back and forth with the SEC up to and even after the merger with MMAT. MMAT received the Series A preferred stock. Okay, Torch merged into MMAT. They received the Series A preferred stock. I myself am a long investor, and I recall sometime before October 6th when it started trading, in my account and in everybody else's account, we didn't have the ticker symbol MMTLP. That changed from Series A preferred share. Then, so remember, and then all of the documents say the expiration date was December 31st for the sale of oil and gas. And failing, if the oil and gas assets never sold, that the Series A preferred dividend stock would be spun off into a private company. Okay, so Torch didn't issue MMTLP. Torch issued the Series A preferred stock. Torch merged into MMAT, and at the date of this, December 5th, Torch isn't even trading. So why and how could they be looking into Torch? Okay, Torch merged. It's no longer on the market. Okay, MMAT didn't issue MMTLP. They obtained the Series A preferred stock, and from the outset of the merger, it was determined that if it wouldn't sell, it would be spun off, because MMAT has nothing to do with oil and gas. In fact, they're a very green company. Okay. NextBridge couldn't be referring to NextBridge because NextBridge didn't even have MMTLP. MMTLP converted into on a one-to-one basis into NextBridge shares. So what I'm saying is none of the three companies, NextBridge, Torch, or MMET, actually issued MMTLP. The only two issuers which they could be referring to as issuers are the broker dealers who issued MMTLP, who got MMTLP to trade. They reported the trade because they were required to once they did the initial issuance to each other. That's what Finra is saying. Okay, Finra issued the symbol after. They didn't authorize the trade. They didn't issue the MMTLP ticker. They're saying the people who issued it, the broker dealers that issued it, had to report it. And then because they reported, they could also request a QSIP, or they could request a ticker. And because there was a QSIP, because remember, Torch and them had registered not MMTLP, they registered right here, Series A non-voting preferred stock with the state of Nevada. Okay. On June 14th, which because it was spinning off, you have right here, December 12th, 2022, them withdrawing this because Series A preferred stock no longer exists. It got turned into NBH. And so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope everything I said actually makes sense. If you disagree, leave me your arguments and your points in the comment box, and I'll give you my response if I can answer it. It's a good question, but looking at the totality of all the filings, the date and time of the emails, the people involved, 3 SEC officers, the entire Finra fraud team. Okay. And again, I'm going to stress either way, whether two issuers are MMAT or not. Okay. The most important thing in this email is they're verifying that they blue sheeted both MMAT and MMTLP. That's the most important thing in this. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here. It's a long video. I think it's past an hour, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video.